In today's weekly SMC Outlook, I'm sharing the exact spot I'm looking to buy the US dollar next week. I'll have details on the euro, the pound, the Australian dollar, gold and silver, and then WTI is a crazy chart that you have to see because we could be setting up for a massive opportunity there. And then also details on the Nasdaq, which could be setting up for a big move in the coming days. And I'll show you why. And then crypto, we are seeing some relief there, but I'm going to explain on the Bitcoin chart, answer the question whether or not this is relief or something more significant from crypto. So my name is Justin Bennett, full-time trader and founder of Daily Price Action. As always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So let's get right into it here. DXY monthly time frame. Now the DXY, I'm going to go from the monthly down to like a daily 4-hour. We're going to talk about all of this here and explain what's happening. So on the monthly time frame, we've talked about this now for a very, very long time, but we have this ascending channel. You can see where the DXY is coming off of this area down here. And also June, the June candle just closed up a few days ago. And this right here is significant because we have the highest monthly close in 13 months. Now, not only that, but the market actually closed and cleared all of these highs back here. Okay. So this area down here, it's no surprise, is now going to be new support for the DXY. And I'll show you exactly where on the 4-hour time frame. We've also talked about this, but on the 4-hour chart, you can see where we do have a trend line off of this May low back here. So we actually have several lows down here in this area. We have this one here and 2 lows right through here. Okay, so this region down in this area is going to be support for the US dollar. So right now, guys, really nice pullback here from the DXY. I mean, it did get very choppy through this region, but the bottom line is that if you were trading the DXY through here, you were kind of trading the market in no man's land because we had the high develop over here and we have support down in this region. Now, all of this also, if you go back to SMC, right, you've got the BOS back here. This was the last true break of structure down here. And so when we look at this from low to the high, you can see right where the DXY bounced last week, right there at the 50%. Okay, now this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to buy down here in discount. Okay, now whether or not we get down here into this inefficiency, okay, this massive inefficiency down here for the DXY, I'm hesitant to say we'll get down there simply because of this trend line. Now, nothing says that this trend line here is going to hold up, right? We could actually see the DXY punch below this, okay, and technically still, as far as structure goes, still be bullish. But at the same time, though, when you look at a level like this that has been touched, many times since May, I do have to think that buyers are going to step in down here in this region, okay? So for me, what's going to come down to is going to be, seeing the DXY tap into this area. Again, I want to see it below these lows here, below that 50% line. And then once we get down here, I will be watching this on a 15-minute chart. So down in this region, if we were to get something, again, down here into discount, okay, I would be looking for US dollar longs, okay? So something like this here, you get down in this region and you get the BOS, okay? So again, you'd have the BOS here, you'd have the BOS here. This would be your protected high. You get the change of character and then that higher low, okay? So this is what I want to see happen from the DXY to confirm a buying opportunity. And in fact, I just made a video on Friday on a break of structure and change of character trading strategy that's going to show you exactly how to do all of this across multiple timeframes. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for from the DXY. Pretty straightforward right now. Again, I want to see it down here into discount below that 50% and ultimately down into this trend line, which if it gets tested on Monday, it could be down here around 100.4 or so, somewhere down here in this region. And then from there, I'm looking for the reaction. Now, if you guys do want a great place to trade Forex, crypto, commodities, all of this stuff, then check out IC Markets, my link in the description, or I'll pop it up here at the top of this video, because with that link, they are going to give you a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. And then on future deposits, they're going to give you a 50% deposit bonus up to $25,000. So they're going to give you up to $26,000 to trade within your account. Plus, if you deposit $10,000 or more, I will grant you lifetime access to VIP, which includes the Discord group that I'm in every single day, and also the full SMC course. Okay, so for the DXY guys, pretty simple. I am looking for the market to tap into this area down here, but confirmation on those lower timeframes will be key. And looking at the daily chart, this is the change of character back here. This is why I've been bullish now since the market took out this high back here. Okay, and I was looking for the higher low in this area, which we got, okay? So really, I mean, all year long, guys, we've been nailing this stuff and it's been really, really clean from the DXY. So basically, as things stand right now, You can see this trend line where it comes in down here next week. So possibly tapping down here into these highs and then looking for a bullish change of character down here in the lower time frames to get long toward areas like 103. Okay, so obviously if we were to drop below this trend line and this fails, then that could change things. We could see a bit of a deeper retracement, but for now I have to go with what is on the chart. Okay, so let's flip over now to the euro, and it's no surprise that this market has also been really clean this year. So this is a perfect example on the daily time frame of how you can use a break of structure like this, external low, change of character. This is what flipped the market bearish. However, as I always say, you're not shorting this. Okay, what you're doing is you're waiting for the market to tap into premium based on that external high to external low. And what do we get right here? So if you saw Friday's video, right, that break of structure and change of character trading strategy I posted, then I showed you how you could have gotten short up here. Okay. So you can also see where this was the top of a channel. And we also talked about this channel back here, okay, before this was even fully established. So once we had this high, this low, I had this channel on my chart. I was saying, watch this area up here. And sure enough, that's exactly where we saw the euro reverse from. Now, that has been a great trade. If you're a swing trader, that was a great short. And what you'll see here from the 4-hour time frame, and even from the daily, you can see the break of structure right here. This tells us that sellers remain in control. Okay, so right now there's no reason to be bullish on the euro. There's no reason, in my opinion, to be bearish on the dollar. So I am still looking for shorts here. Now, with that in mind, though, what I have to wait for, and I've talked about this in multiple videos, but what I have to wait for is just like back here. You can see that following this BOS, we have to wait for the market to get into premium, which if this is our 50% back here, you can see that the market did tap into premium, and we actually had a lower time frame change of character up here as well. So same thing right now. If we look here from the high up here, okay, just before FOMC. So this drop right here was FOMC. If we look from the high down here to the low, you can see where this is what we get. Now notice too, last week, the high right off the 50%. So just like with the DXY though, will we see the market get all the way up here? I'm hesitant to say we will, simply because of where the DXY is in relation to that trend line. But look, it could happen. It could happen. But at the same time, like I said, you've got on the DXY, the market approaching this trend line support down here. So as long as this is the case and the market's above this level, then I'm not going to assume that the euro is going to get all the way up here. Okay, I'm just not going to assume that as long as the DXY is above that trend line. Now, what you can also see here too, on the 4-hour chart is that we do have an ascending channel that's forming. Okay, so markets do love symmetry, and you can see that here. So what we have is we have the lows down here, and we have these two highs. Okay, so if we see a pullback from the euro next week, ideally we get a pullback down here, and then we see the market push up here into premium. At which time, through here, notice how we have displacement back here. This is an inefficiency. I will be looking for shorts against these lows. Now, when I say looking for shorts, guys, it doesn't mean I'm going out and blindly shorting the market. I am looking for a lower time frame change of character up here. Okay, so just a little bit more structure here to the chart with this ascending channel. So we'll see how this goes next week. But so far, the way the euro is looking is we have the BOS down here, over here, telling us that sellers remain in control. And we also have the market moving within what looks like a corrective structure. Okay, so this could be essentially a bear flag showing us continuation, but the key for me is going to be to wait for a change of character up here. Okay, that's what this comes down to. So we'll see if we get it next week. Now, as far as targets, like I mentioned before, you've got the daily chart, you've got these two lows back here. Okay, so pretty simple, 1.12 and the area around 110.60. Okay, so moving on to the pound GBPUSD. Now, this one has been a lot more sideways than the euro, because you can see back here, we did on the daily time frame, we had the close above, giving us the BOS. This is the external low, and what you can see here is that we have not taken this out just yet. So since this time, all the way back here in November of last year, since that time, the pound has just been really, locked sideways. Now, with that said, though, if we go to a 4-hour chart, you can see where we do have a break of structure technically below this low over here. Okay, because what we need is a close below this, and what you'll notice is that we did get a close below. Okay, so this right here is enough. And so that gives us a break of structure showing us that sellers remain in control. We also have within this tighter trend that we've seen here over the past few months, we do have a break of structure up here as well. Okay, so really what I'm looking for right now is going to be the market to tap into premium. Now, if you'll notice right here, right from high down here to the low, notice where we are. We're right there in OTE, okay? However, at the same time, what I need to happen up here is I need to see some type of change of character. And what you'll notice is that we don't have that. Okay, what we don't have that at all because right here we have a break of structure here. Okay, so if we call this our BOS, then this down here is going to be the low that sellers would have to take out to confirm a reversal. Okay, now we broke above this, so then this would be the high that we're watching next week. Okay, so right now it's just locked sideways. There's no confirmation that a top is in. And look, I'm not interested in trading the pound nearly as much as the euro. I just don't think that really in 2026, to me, if you're looking to trade a major currency pair, if you want to trade the US dollar, it's the euro because it's been a lot cleaner than the pound. Just my opinion, but that's the way I'm viewing this. So really for me, guys, it comes down to the euro, that setup I just mentioned. This interests me a lot more than anything on the pound. So Australian dollar, guys, I mentioned this one last week as well. And what you can see here, very similar to the pound, we're also still sideways. So we had the BOS up here. And since this low back here in, let's see, March, April, we have just seen this market go sideways. Okay. Now, with that said, internally, we have these BOSs to the downside, right? This trend moving lower. So in my opinion, I still think that this low down here probably comes under pressure. And it could actually next week if the Nasdaq does what it looks like it might do next week. So more on that later. But right now, one thing I mentioned this last week as well, is that the market was coming off of this low. Okay. Now, what you'll notice here, and I can see it right here, if we go to a 1 hour time frame, what you will notice is that back here in this area, okay, we technically had this right here. If this was our BOS, and look, you could have called this one the BOS or this down here the BOS. It doesn't really matter because either way, you get the change of character that occurred over here. Now, I want to be clear though, that this change of character is really internal to this larger downtrend. So all this right here tells you, is that you're likely to get relief, okay, a counter trend move up here toward this area before possibly continuing lower. Okay, so up here we have what's called a single print right below 0.7. And this is the inception point of the displacement for the Australian dollar. So this is what I'm looking to be mitigated or retested before I look for shorts. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly, but this general area up here, you can see the displacement that occurred back here. Oftentimes, markets will move back toward areas like this to mitigate them. And that's exactly what I want to see from this market, okay? So right now, we do have a downtrend. We also have the low, okay? So from back here, we've got this low. So if I map this out, put a level across here, then this could be a potential target. So what I would be looking for is basically for the Australian dollar to move up here, okay, toward this displacement, mitigate this back here, okay, up here in this region. And then from there, I'm looking for that lower time frame change of character, okay? I want to see this right here. I want to see the market take out a high and then take out the low, okay? And then one target here could be areas like obviously this low down here and possibly even areas like 68.35. Okay, now I haven't looked at this yet. This could backfire. I don't know if this is going to be something here or not. I haven't looked at this yet, but something like this could also be playing out here for this market. So very similar to the euro. This just looks like a corrective move to me, right? And that can change. It can change. But right now, what I have to go off of is this downtrend and this corrective looking move so far from this market. Okay, so in my opinion, so far this bounce is just nothing more than relief to push back here into this inefficiency before a possible continuation. As always, that could change, but I have to go with what's on the chart right now. Okay, so gold here, XAUUSD. Let's talk about this. And this is another case too, guys, where there's a lot of people talking about the bottom for gold simply because the US dollar is pulling back and we have the market coming off the lows. But there's a difference though between just speculating on that and just saying that the bottom is in versus actually looking for a structure, okay, something structurally that's telling you that the bottom is in. And right now, even if you look at the 4 hour time frame, what you see here is that the last significant move we have is a BOS to the downside. Okay, we have this showing us that sellers remain in control. So what would have to happen for gold to really put in a bottom would be for it to take out this high up here. Okay, if we see gold get above this high on a 4 hour closing basis, so just below 4,400, then that right there could be something. Okay, but again, this goes back to I have to go with what's on the chart right now, not what I think might happen. And the people calling for a bottom here are basically assuming that we're going to take these out, right? They're basically assuming that this is the bottom and we're going to do this right? Which we don't know that. There's nothing on the chart suggesting that. So I have to go with what's on the chart. Therefore, this is a downtrend until proven otherwise. Okay, so looking at that there, if we look from the high, okay, the high up here, down here to the low, same thing, right? You see the market getting into premium right now. Now, there is a pocket of inefficiencies right here. So you can see the displacement for gold, this pocket right back here, right there in OTE, this dark green area. So for me, if we get up here next week, then same thing, guys. I'm looking for a lower time frame change of character, okay, to signal that the top could be in. Okay, and keep in mind that looking back here, really, this inefficiency starts back here. So this entire move started with this candle right back here. Okay, so we could see the market get up here as high as like 4,280, 4,300 before possibly looking for shorts from here. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And again, this could change. Okay, this could change. I'm not saying that this is not going to be the bottom. I'm not saying that. This isn't about forecasting. It's not about predicting. It's about going with what is on the chart right now. And what's on the chart is a downtrend. There's nothing structurally to tell me that the bottom is in here. Okay, and furthermore too, you can see like this low back here. If we go to a 4-hour time frame and move back in this area, you'll notice that this was a pretty significant pivot for gold. Okay, so we had these highs back here. The market broke out. This became support. Okay, and we haven't tested 38.95 yet. It doesn't mean we have to, but I would expect gold to come down here and test this. Possibly if we get a reversal pattern up here sometime while the DXY is testing that trend line and giving us a bullish reversal pattern, then possibly, looking for shorts up here with the target these lows, possibly 38.95. So that's how I'm playing this one next week. Again, if we were to see gold take out this level up here, close above it, then we could have something more bullish on our hands. Okay, so moving along here to silver. Now, this chart's interesting because you can see where this market is starting to at least try to close back above these lows. Now, from an SMC standpoint, I want to be clear, that's not really all that significant because if you look at the 4-hour time frame, the only way that I can short this market following this BOS is really for the market to move up here into premium. Okay, so from high to low, this is what you get. Now, you could, there would be some people drawing it from this high over here. In my opinion, though, this retracement, this retracement right here is not enough to call this an external high. To me, the external high is up here at this level, which by the way, is also the yearly open for silver. Okay. So to me, this is the correct placement. Okay. So from high to low, you get the 50% coming in basically right here at this low. And so I need to see the market tap into this area. Now, silver right now is a little bit, I will say, further ahead than gold in this relief rally. So it could point to silver actually moving back here to take out this high and move back here into this inefficiency. Okay. So basically sweeping this high up here and possibly moving into like the $67, $68 region before possibly getting a short opportunity next week. A lot of this too, keep in mind, is going to hinge on what we get from the DXY, the US dollar. Because if we see this market come down here and give us a bottom, confirm a bottom down here for the continuation of this rally, then of course that's going to matter for gold and silver as well, because they do tend to move inversely. Obviously, if the US dollar were to do something different and break below here and show signs of a deeper retracement, then that could be a little bit more bullish for gold and silver in the short term. Okay, so for silver, guys, again, just like gold, I mean, the market is in a downtrend until proven otherwise. So until there's something structurally significant, in this case, silver getting above $71, $72, then this is just a downtrend. Okay, so next up we have WTI. Now, this chart right here is fascinating, guys. I love this chart right now. I don't even trade oil that much, but this chart, I have to say, is really fascinating right now. And by the way, if you want to see exactly how I trade SMC full time, then check out the link right here on the screen. That is a completely free training that will show you my exact strategy. It is free. All you have to do, click on the link, enter your name, email address, and you will get access. So this chart I talked about weeks ago. I mentioned this one when WTI was up here in this area. And what I said there was that this region down here is what I was looking for. Okay, so for a couple of reasons. One, you can see it's the bottom of this parallel channel. So off of the highs up here, really clean pattern. You can see the lows right here, right off that level. And what you'll also notice is that for the past really week or two, we have seen WTI respect this level as support. Okay, so even like these lows, these two lows right here, 1, 2, and then notice what happened late last week. So this right here is showing you that the market is finding support here. Now, what I said though in the last weekly forecast is exactly what's happened. I said I would not be buying this right here or this right here, I wanted to see the market chop traders up, okay? Because you don't often get the market giving you a move like this, and then one candle, one wick, and then just doing this, right? That's very, very rare. So typically what you get is you get this move, okay? You get early buyers trying to step in, those buyers get liquidated, and you just get the, traders getting chopped up through here. And then finally you get some type of bottom forming, okay? So this is what I'm looking for right now. Now, if we go to a 4-hour time frame, and by the way, too, the reason I was looking for this as well is if you go back here toward that early March breakout, this is when WTI went parabolic. And what you'll notice is that this was the inception point, 66.7. This was the inception point of that breakout, okay? This candle right here is where it started. So I wanted to see this fully mitigated before looking for longs. Now, another thing too, let's look at a 4-hour time frame. So I talked about this in last week's video, but what you'll notice here on the 4-hour chart, we have this really clean descending channel, okay? And so right now, look at all these touches off here. What you'll see here is that oil actually broke out late last week. Now, it's a little bit less than ideal, I will say, because this is low volume, right? Friday, no doubt, was low volume. It was a Friday. The 4th of July is actually today when I'm publishing this video. It is a US holiday, so it was low volume going into the weekend. So I don't love that, but it's still a breakout nonetheless. And you can actually see where WTI actually found support right here. So one thing about oil, though, to keep in mind is a market this volatile, you could actually get the market opening next week and then pushing down here below this low and tapping this area, retesting this as new support, and then from there rallying higher. So I'm not trying to say, I don't want you guys to watch this and think I'm saying that this is the bottom, because I'm not going to try to be that precise. There's no point when it's something as volatile as oil. But the bottom line is, guys, if we see the market hold on to this area down here, and like I said last week too, if you're looking at a 1-hour chart, the way to confirm the bottom is simple. You simply look at this over here. This is your BOS, okay? So off of these lows over here, you've got the high up here. This would be your change of character. Now you're not longing up here, okay? You're not missing out on this because you're waiting for the market to close above this high back here, and then that's your change of character, and you're waiting for that higher low to form. So you're longing on this part right here, right? You're not longing this. So the point being that right now there is no actual confirmation the bottom is in, even though we have this tentative breakout right here. There's no confirmation structurally that the bottom is in. I want to be clear about that. So if you're looking for that added confirmation, then this level up here, right around 72.56, that's going to be the level that we are watching next week. But bottom line here for WTI, the reason this is on my radar is you can see here that this move lower, okay, if we get a bottom in place here, this move lower started with basically $90, 88, 90 bucks. And it started with this candle up here. Okay, so on the daily chart, if we go to a 5-day time frame, it's really clear, guys. Very, very obvious that you've got all these lows back here. Okay, now if we go to a daily time frame, you'll notice that this move lower, this displacement started with this candle. Okay, so a lot of displacement moving lower. This candle is where it started. And you'll notice too that on this candle, where this closed and where the next one, the high of this candle, there's really no retrace into this area, okay? So this up here would be my longer term target if we can confirm a bottom. So you can clearly see the potential here and why this is on my radar, because if we get a confirmed bottom down here, even if I'm able to get in, $70, $71, somewhere down here, then you can see the potential here is like 25%. So, massive potential move here off the lows if we're able to get that confirmation. Now, for me, I will tell you that I will probably use a combination of this channel breakout and something structurally like a change of character. Okay, but as always, I will be sure to post this in our Discord group in real time, as I always do. All right, so let's move on now to the Nasdaq, guys. And this chart is fascinating to me. I don't typically use diamond patterns. Diamond patterns are bottom and top type of pattern. So you get the market essentially moving into this diamond pattern, and that's pretty self-explanatory why it's called a diamond pattern. And then this is an exhaustion pattern, kind of similar to a head and shoulders. And you can also get this too in a move lower. So if from here you get the market doing this, okay, and giving you this diamond pattern down here, then that can be, exhaustion for the market to push higher, okay? So it's not just a topping pattern, it can also form at a bottom. But in this case here, the interesting part about this, the reason this is so interesting is because we talked about this before, and we talked about it as a break of structure and a change of character. And notice how these highs over here did not take out this one. Therefore, all of this is still valid. Okay. So on the one hand, you have this 4-hour change of character. And on the other, if you go to a daily, and you can even see here on the 4-hour time frame as well. But if you go to a daily, you can really see it here. Okay, this right here is a diamond pattern. Now, I would probably move this down just a little bit down here to the lows because, most conservative placement possible is the way you want to go. So what's interesting about this now is that if we take, let's say a price range from this intersection up here, and this is how you come up with a measured objective for a diamond, down here toward this intersection at the bottom, right? So if we take this height right here and we drag this over, so what I'm going to do is copy and paste it over so it's the exact same height. And if we were to get a breakdown somewhere over here, like let's say next week, obviously hypothetical, we don't know what's going to happen. But if we were to get that, you can see where this objective comes very, very close to these highs back here, which by the way, were never tested. Okay. All this displacement out of here, we never saw a retest of this level. So it doesn't mean it has to happen, guys. But that right there is very interesting to me. I would say if we see the Nasdaq close below here and lose this on the daily chart, then that could set up the reversal from this diamond top. Okay. And it's not just the diamond top pattern. It's also the change of character that we saw. Okay. So I do think this looks pretty dicey right now for Nasdaq. I mean, it's a really clean pattern so far. Of course, we could see this market just break out, right? It is stocks. We could just see it break out and just continue higher. Okay. So the important part here is waiting for that confirmation on a close below here, possibly then a retest of this to get short for the move down here toward this low and possibly these highs. So we'll see how this goes, guys. But it is, again, it's looking pretty dicey to me here from the Nasdaq. Okay, so let's wrap up now with BTC here, Bitcoin. Okay, guys, so we are seeing relief from the crypto market. And if you're on X, I'm sure you've seen people talking about how the bottom is in for crypto. And this is a macro bottom. However, and look, I want to be clear on the daily chart. Yes, we are seeing a bottom. I actually mentioned this on X a couple of days ago. I said we are likely to see relief here from this market. And so far, that's what we're getting. Because what you'll notice is that back here off of this low, we had these lows through here. The market actually broke below, found resistance, and then broke back above. Okay, so what happened here is it looked like Bitcoin was just kind of struggling to push below this level. And so what happens in cases like this, where you have a downtrend that lasts this long, what you'll notice is that back here, when the market broke below lows like this, or even lows like this, because this is very similar to what we're seeing right now, you can see that we had a lot of displacement, right? A lot of selling pressure that came out. And so what happened here is we did not see that, right? We kind of punched below it, wicked below here, tried again, came down, and the market just went sideways below the level. So markets move on liquidity. And so what happens is eventually a trend like this will start to exhaust itself because you don't have that liquidity, that supply down here to push the market lower, and demand starts to outweigh supply. So what does the market do? The market has to move back toward supply, toward liquidity. Okay, and that's exactly what we're seeing here so far. Now, the question though is this the bottom for crypto or not? And structurally, there's nothing here to make me think that. There's nothing here. At a minimum, the market would have to take out this high back here. And even then, right, if you go out here to like a weekly time frame and you look at this here, well, now we have a weekly BOS below this low. So now this high up here at $82,000 is the one that would have to be taken out to structurally matter. Now, let's go to a monthly time frame because I want to show you some symmetry here that's pretty eye-opening. So on the monthly time frame for Bitcoin, going back here to this 2018 high, right? We've got that high, we've got this high here, we've got these 3 highs off of that level. And what you'll notice is that we have 2 exact lows right here off of this bottom level. This one here came pretty close. I would count that as a retest. And June, which just closed, closed significantly below this. It wasn't even close. So in June, this level right here was up around, let's call it 63, okay? Right around 63K. June closed all the way down here at 58.5, okay? So it was a pretty significant gap there between that support level and where June closed, okay? So just from a price action standpoint, this area, what I think we get, look, I want to be clear. I think what we get is because June closed so bearish, I think we probably get relief throughout July, not just for like a few days or a week or so. I think maybe throughout July, we see the market, show some relief. There will be pullbacks, okay? But we probably get some relief here in July, possibly into August. So this isn't a case where I'm saying the moment we test this, go short, right? This is never financial advice. It's always just my opinion. But for me, I'm not going to be rushing out to short anything. In fact, I'm still short from 80K. I mentioned this in Discord in real time as well. I'm still short from there, but I'm not rushing out to short here or short here. I'm letting the market just go ahead and pump. I'm letting the market show some relief, right? Get it out of their system, just do what it needs to do to come back here toward that liquidity that I mentioned, okay? So that's what I'm letting the market do. I have no interest in buying this right now. There's nothing structural here to tell me it's time to buy. I'm also not shorting it because even though I do have that short on from 80K from this high way up here, I'm not actively shorting this market because again, I think we need to move back toward liquidity before sellers, big sellers step in and we push the market possibly lower. Now looking at the 4-hour time frame, okay, this is a trend line. It looks kind of meaningless on the surface, right? You think, okay, this doesn't really matter. But what Bitcoin has a tendency to do, and look, I've been around crypto now since 2018, 2019. So it has been a while. And what I've noticed that Bitcoin has a tendency to do is that if you'll notice on trend lines like this, okay, off of the closing price, really, really clean trend line. Now, if you look at this retest, this wasn't much of a rounded retest. We basically closed below and then the market retested this. Okay. And by the way, I did short this in Discord as well. Those of you in Discord know what I'm talking about. You know, we shorted this from here. I ended up taking profit over here. So on the reclaim, once I saw the market kind of going sideways and not really pushing below here, I did take profit, you know, down here. I believe it was up here in this region. Okay. So a decent little short. But what Bitcoin has a tendency to do though, especially when you have displacement like this above the key level, is it has a tendency to break down, retest, come down here, right? Get everybody piling into shorts and then come up and retest this level, okay? So in my opinion, I think this 65K area is probably where we're headed. Furthermore, look at this upper wick back here. Okay, this right here is also an inefficiency in the market. So there is a good chance that we see Bitcoin push back here into at least the 50%, possibly take out this high. So what I'm looking for in the near term is going to be a push up here toward about the 50%, which is right around 65K. And what you'll notice too is that on the monthly chart, if we go over here toward that, okay, and get rid of this, because this level right here is the one I just drew, what you'll notice is that this is also very close to these monthly lows. Okay, so again, June closed down here. This is that upper wick on the 4-hour time frame. You can see where these lows come in pretty close to that. So I think the bottom line for Bitcoin, guys, is that over the coming, I'm going to say 4 to 6 weeks, we are likely to see relief. Okay, there could be some pullbacks, but likely to see some relief here from this market. But I do think this entire area up here from about 65, 66, we could see a little bit higher. But I do think this area up here is going to be a significant area to watch for Bitcoin as resistance over the coming weeks. Okay, so basically relief for now, as long as we're above the 60K area. But again, 65, 66, this general area, we could again see a little bit higher into late July, early August. That's going to be a massive area to watch here on the BTC chart. Now, look, could we get above this? Of course, right? This could be a larger bottom. But like I said, the market's going to have to take out areas like this up here on those higher time frames to start to show more intent toward inefficiencies like this. And there's a lot of them, right? There are a lot of them. But longer term, if you're looking for like the Bitcoin bottom, like the bottom in the cycle, in my opinion, it's not in yet. I'm still targeting mid 40Ks. I know that's an unpopular opinion among many in crypto. But like I said, in order for this to structurally on the higher time frames be more of a macro bottom, you'd have to take out this high back here, right? That's the bottom line. And so a long way to go from being at 62K and talk about a macro bottom when this high back here is around 82K. All right, so you kind of get the idea there. All right, guys, I hope this video has helped. If it has, be sure to subscribe to the channel to keep it locked in here. Also see the link on the screen. That is going to be that free SMC course. Click that link, enter your name and email address to get free access. So until next time, have a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you again on Monday.